All right, share screen. That one, share screen this time. All right, now we wait. Hyperfixation. This is free nuggies. Yes, Florian did very well at this event. Roughhouse went 5-1 in the actual tournament, and 6-2 if I include the Rumble and the grudge match I had. So yes, Florian did very well. All right. This is the second fight. Right. Right, that. Just gonna wait a bit longer before I start chatting. Let people get a chance to join in. Yeah, I'm presently surprised Viper King managed to get up to second place. Nick did a very good job at this event. He just did really well. Got good luck, good robot, and just dominated. Sadly, I had a pretty tough sixth fight against a mean old Vert. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what a lake land loser is, so I can't really answer that. That reminds me, actually, I should probably. This should say I'm live right now. Why is this not? How do I share? Pop out dashboard, all settings. Yeah, whatever. I'm trying to. Why is this not working? There we go. Okay. So it does work. Okay, so share, copy link. I don't think I was. I don't think I was part of that Jupiter Robotics live stream. Maybe I was, I just don't remember, but I don't recall there being a Lakeland loser part of the videos. I'm just currently trying to spread the word about this, what I'm doing right now. Recap if anyone wants to in the chat. How do I? It's this, right? I'm trying to remember how Discord works. Couple of people. Oh well, yeah. I think I've noticed that the view counts for this particular event seem lower than normal for this for just kind of lower than normal, even though it's only been like 2 days. Usually at this point the fights have like a couple dozen views, but a bunch of them are still struggling to hit double digits. I think it's because the playlist was messed up. I honestly don't know, and it's whatever, but it's just odd. Uh, huh. Right. Jeez. I don't know what MRCA is, but cool. Don't worry about it, Roughhouse. You're fine. Don't expect this should be too long. I'm gonna try and move through the fights somewhat quickly because a bunch of them are pretty short and the others are, well, admittedly kind of boring. And then there's the Rumble, which honestly not much happened, at least for me in the Rumble, so yeah. Hello, Dr. Sir 1926 Bird. I don't know who you are. I don't Dr. Sir 1926. I don't know who you are. Like were you at the event? If you're at the event, I don't know which robot you had, or if you're like some person I know, I don't really know who you are, or you're just someone who's just joined to say hi, which case, hello. Right. Okay, we are all right. It is now 1 p.m., so I'm gonna get started with the recap. And okay, because I have to set this up actually. There we go. All right, guys, let's start with the recap now. Welcome everybody to the Team Halogen Robotics Robot Ruckus at our Maker Faire Orlando 2025 live recap of the event. Um, if you have any questions, I guess just leave them in the chat that's over here. You're welcome, Jupiter. I will say this, and maybe I'm gonna maybe try next time to set up like a StreamYard so people can actually like talk. I mean, like talk with like their cameras or whatever while this is going on. I keep forgetting to set it up because I just keep forgetting to do it because I'm very forgetful. But in the future, I'm probably gonna do that. But for now, I'm just gonna do the classic me talking at a camera and hoping people actually, comment. Which for once, I actually have comments and people chatting, so I could actually feel less alone. Because the last times I've done this, I haven't gotten any actual like chats or messages or whatever. So this should actually be kind of fun. Right, let's get started. So, going into the event was hoping I had higher hopes than normal because I usually do kind of terribly at these events, like these specific Orlando events. I've consistently with either of the robots I bring, like sometimes I bring two, and then like last year and the year before, last year I brought just one. Um, Fluorine usually, I don't really do well. Fluorine specifically because that's the one that's competed at all of them. It's gone. First time I went in 2021, I think no. 2020, yeah, 2021 actually, yes. I believe I did. I went 0 and 2. I'm actually gonna quickly check my record here because I have like a write up on a wiki, which is great for cross referencing. Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry, Rough House. Go nuts. Feel free to like ask questions so I can try and be somewhat useful. Yeah, 2021 went 0 and 2. 2022, I actually did a bit better and went 3 and 3 if I include like various Rumble and Grudge matches in the conversion or in the record. 2023, I did actually about the same. I went 3 and 3 again. 2024, I went 2 and 3. And so, but compared to like other events I do, I don't really do as well as other events in Florida because this at this event everyone's like bringing their A game and their like best possible robots because this is like the I don't know Super Bowl or whatever of the Florida Combat League. So yeah, this time around I think I felt I had like a better chance than normal because I prepared, I brought more spares, um, and so I had higher hopes because I'd also the robot had done pretty well throughout the year and actually placed like first and like third a couple times, which is good. So, fluorine, I was expecting to do pretty well. Chlorine, I was honestly, if I could get like a win or just, I just wanted chlorine to kind of just work, because chlorine is still pretty new, and this is kind of like I considered Robot Ruckus this one a sort of final test before I felt confident enough in the design of chlorine to bring it to NHRL in 2026 at some point. And well, spoiler alert, I feel now confident enough to finally consider bringing chlorine to an NHRL event. I'm not sure when, but at some point I do want to now finally make that step and bring it to NHL. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Let's finally get to the damn recap, which is what y'all are kind of here for. So, right, first fight of the day on day one was against a robot called Nausea, and Nausea is a four-wheel drive like undercutter type robot built by I think the Weekday Robotics team, who also built Free Noogies and a bunch of other machines I can't remember the name of right now. And excuse me, my strategy for Najo is just to kind of spin up and hit him because his weapon, as long as I don't like be stupid, is my weapon outreaches his weapon. So as long as I keep facing him with my weapon, I should be able to hit him. So let us see how this went, as the fight is pretty short, as you can tell. So you could probably tell it went pretty well. Here we go.
All right, working again. 3, 2, 1, fight.
I hit him once, he stops moving, and I decided to come in for a second hit because I'm thinking, okay, he might have stopped moving for like a second, but he might start moving again, so I might as well get a nice, basically free shot while I still can. So I come in, hit him again. At this point, I realize, okay, he hasn't moved again. So I stop, and then he starts smoking. And I win. And then it like continues for a bit more as I think that's not Paul, that's one of the other guys who I can't remember the name of. Gets a bucket and puts Nausea in there. I think the smoke that you see there is from, I think, his weapon you see melting or something, and that somehow shorted out the entire robot, which killed Nausea instantly. So I win by exactly an Evo could be a flamethrower. Yeah. Yeah, and over 100 fights I've had with fluorine, this is the first time I've smoked out or that a robot has caught fire, either mine or my opponent's, in any of my fights. This is the first time I've seen smoke in the arena with fluorine, I guess, if that makes sense. So that was a good sign. I was like, yay, I won in a really cool way. I set someone on fire. I was really happy about that. So that was good. Immediately off to an excellent start. Why is there a replay? Oh, it's a replay. So yeah, I win. Duh. Next fight after that was my big boy Chlorine. And I was facing Suboptimal, this mega wide super vert. And I did something you'll notice is the weapon on the robot is a bit different than is the old weapon I was using at my last event, and I think the event before that actually. And that's on purpose. I realized during the testing, when I was doing my safety, that it took it took longer than I liked for the long bar on the rope on Chlorine, the new one I made, to spin up to speed. And I was also worried about possibly burning out the motor again. And to prevent that to just eliminate that risk, I decided to just switch to my old weapon bar with my old weapon motor, which still worked because I wanted to just be safe and not risk losing my weapon during a fight for some stupid reason of me burning it out again, which would be, dumb. So I switched to that, and I'll be completely honest, my strategy I didn't really think I stood much of a chance. Did that energy dip forfeit? I think maybe, I don't know if Nausea specifically has smoked out before. I don't think I haven't seen many of their fights. I only have seen like the one I had with them. I don't think Weekday Robotics posts their fight videos, at least of Nausea. I mean, maybe they have. I'd have to check. I'm not sure. So anyway, Suboptimal. I honestly wasn't confident at all going into this fight because Suboptimal is a really good robot and also pretty damn fast. So my hope was I was gonna try my best to spin up and just try and move as quick as I could, but as you're about to see, that didn't really work. I'm just gonna kind of skip past the intro. Oh man, why does it take it so long? So fight starts.
Why?
I get maybe a second to get my weapon up to speed, and Suboptimal is already across the arena and is hitting me in the side, which is great. So now my weapon is stopped because, I'm jammed up. He hits me in the air.
Wait for a second.
And then he hits me again as I'm still trying to recover. And now he's pinned up against me, so I can't like back away and spin up. I still can't spin up. And then at this point I realize, yeah, this isn't going well, and I just decided to tap out pretty soon. So I tap out immediately because I'm like, yeah, screw this, because he has me in the corner and he's just basically chipping away at me. I don't think the duck being knocked off like really did anything. I'll be honest. I was losing before that happened, so I don't, because I think with the duck thing is robots were winning until they knocked the duck off, and then they were losing. I was losing immediately, so I don't think that really counts. Maybe it does count. I don't know. The point is, I tapped out immediately because I knew in my head, I was like, okay, I still have 2 fights left, and I don't want to have to write off one of my frames already, so I just tapped out. Damage was a bit kind of bad. My I think my bottom frame was completely cut through on like 2 sides. So I think I gave the frame, yeah, I gave the bottom frame to the suboptimal team, and I had to go to one of my old frames, that I used that had that I that I used in one of the older version of Chlorine to be in a new bottom frame because support and all that. Looks like someone needs to get their ducks in a row. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I'll be honest. I have no idea how I was supposed to beat suboptimal. Like, I'm still not sure what I would have done if I could redo this fight, aside from me driving first and then spin up at the same time and see what happens. But whatever. I'm not too annoyed. The damage is at least repairable, which is nice. Anyway, my next fight was
Yeah,
back
thanks
to
up.
Chlorine, and I was facing an undercutter named Werewolf, who has this big and really nicely shaped disc. And my strategy here was just avoid letting him hit me with the disc, obviously. But even if he did, there's not really much on Fluorine to hit for an undercutter, at least, because the only things that on Fluorine that actually like touch the ground are the wheels, because, well, duh, and the weapon support, which is like a TPU, TPU piece, but inside that TPU piece is a shoulder bolt, so I really wasn't worried going into this one. I can't really show any parts yet. Dang. So let's see how this fight went. Let's just skip past the intro. Here we go. Spin up. He spins around. I come straight at him because I'm trying to be nice and aggressive. Ignore the post in the way because I was stupid and had the person filming the fight be right next to me instead of like in front of the arena. That was a mistake of mine. I fixed that on day 2. So going aggressive, hit him again. He kind of chips my wheel there, but then I get it. We hit each other again. Oop, this again. He kind of gets a shot on my wheel there, but I also get a shot on him. Turn around. Ooh, nice shot there from me. And he gets sent right into the corner. I come flying in, and I realize he's stopped moving, so I switch off my weapon. I kind of just sit there for a second, and he's not moving.
I think it's dead.
I kind of spin up my weapon a bit to show aggression or whatever. And he's dead.
4, 3, 2, 1.
So I back up and just get ready to take the robot out of the arena. Yep, quick knockout victory for me. Not really much else to say. I'm not sure why he stopped moving. I don't even know. I don't even think the werewolf guy, I don't remember his name. I don't even think he knew why the robot stopped moving. So yeah, not really much to say. It's just quick and easy win. So nice. With minimal damage to me, aside from like some scraped up wheels. Next fight, Chlorine again, and I am facing the almighty Drum Gun by the Junkyard Dog team. And I wasn't really feeling that confident going into this fight because, Drum Gun is a pretty good robot. It's, I think it's won a championship before. I honestly, I haven't checked, but I'm almost certain they've at least placed before. They are a really good beat away, and so I was nervous because you got 2 bad matchups. Yeah. So, I wasn't really expecting to win this one either because, again, drum gun is good, and I'm still pretty new to driving chlorine and it fighting, period. So let us see how this fight went. I gave him also a little high five right there. Actually, yoink. Because again, I was like, yeah, this is gonna sucks. Because I don't know. I'm just ramble at this point. So
2 minutes on the clock. We are going to start this fight in
there we
3,
go.
2, 1, fight.
Okay, so I spin up. He actually gives me some. Okay, not off to a great start. I spin up the speed. He hits me in the air. I come back down, but I'm still working. I get a chance to like run away and actually get my weapon up to speed for once, which is nice. I get stuck on like the lip in the middle of the arena for some reason, which was a recurring issue. Which is kind of odd because chlorine isn't really, it doesn't have forks, so like it's not really supposed to get stuck on lips, but I guess the shoulder bolt's head somehow jammed against the floor. I'm honestly not sure how I managed that. So that means he just got a free shot on my butt. It just kicked me right in the patukas. I come back down. I managed to finally get my weapon still spinning. I managed to get turned around, which is nice. I landed an actually decent shot. I was like, oh wow, I actually landed a good shot. I'm still working. So I'm being careful again. I'm trying to keep my weapon face towards him, which is kind of difficult because, like I said, I'm not really used to driving chlorine much, if at all, because my test box isn't big enough to drive the robot around. Oop. I oversteer a little bit, but I managed to land a good shot again. Land a good shot there. Kind of hit the wall, though. Oop, hit the wall again. Step in the wall. There we go. Hit him again. Oop. He gets on top of me, but I'm able to kind of like rotate him off, and he also flies off because of his weapon going. And then I land a good shot there, which flips me over in a... Actually, how did I get flipped over? Jeez, sorry. Didn't bug out. Yeah, so... Dang it, okay. Okay, I keep hearing, like, pausing on YouTube. It's weird. And there. Landing... Okay, there's the shot. So I just... Oh, I hit the floor. And that's what caused me to flip over. But he... not only is his belt now loose on his weapon, he now gets stuck on the side of the pit. So as I awkwardly try and get close to him, I hit the wall because I'm just sliding around uncontrollably, almost.
Darren, his belt's loose. You got him.
So I'm just sitting there waiting.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I shut off my weapon.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, jeez, sorry, wrong one. Dang it. Right. Okay. So, I win. Chlorine manages to get an actual win against a really competent robot. I mean, actually, wait, no. I beat a real again, but I'm not saying like robots I've beaten in the past weren't good. Like Nick's robot is like popped. Nick's robot like Systematic Chaos popped off at this event. I think it went like 2-1, and like I think it also went 2-2, so it did really well as well. But Drum Gun is like a robot I was kind of scared to fight because, big vertical spinner. I'm always scared to fight big vertical spinners because they're big vertical spinners. They're quite scary. So the fact that I was, able to actually beat a pretty big mean drum spinner is pretty amazing to me. And also, right after that handshake, I screamed, yes! Pretty much at the top of my lungs because I was so pumped because I wasn't expecting Chlorine of all bots to, actually win a fight. I was expecting to go like 0-3 or something and just lose immediately. But no, I managed to, win, which I'm just kind of shocked by. Also, try not to hit the wall for mid-cutter challenge, Phil. Yep, driving chlorine is an experience. It is quite slidey. I really something I need to do is I need to let people try driving these robots at the events I go to, so they can get they can kind of understand why I have trouble driving my robots. Because I feel like it's kind of hard to communicate the difficulty through a screen. So anyway, yeah, I win. Excellent. Next fight was against Free Noogies, and with Florian. Right. Now, I have faced Free Noogies in the past, and beat him by launching him into the pit. Actually, no, he launched himself into the pit, then I sent him into the pit. But anyway, so I beaten him before, and my strategy was to kind of do what I did last time and run upside down, so he would be dissuaded from using his hammer saw, and also so I could try and snipe the wires and disable it. Not much to say, so let's just see how that went. Not sure what he's doing. Alright, here we go. So I spin up, it's great. I'm having to drive upside down, which is a bit fun, but not too bad. Oop, careful. Spin up, there we go. This again.
Oh, nice job.
Okay, so two things happen. One, I disable his weapon, so being upside down worked. Doing that also flings me across the arena, and I land right side up again, which was also a good thing. So now I can start chipping away at his wheels or something.
Oh, let's go.
There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Here we go.
As you can hear, I'm very excited because things are working. And now I'm basically gonna have to elevate his wedge for the next 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Minute
You
and a
got
half.
it.
Doink.
Oh, you didn't need that?
So I launched his little arm right into the pit, which I thought was pretty cool.
Here. Come on, baby. Don't die on me now, boy.
So now I'm just trying to be kind of careful and not get flung into the pit or something, and also just not break down. The guy driving Fox team. So I realize why he's.
I see what you're trying to do. What's this the point?
He's legit still trying to fight, even though he has lost half his driving point and his weapon. Like, he's a pretty tough robot. I'm not exactly helping his case by constantly hitting his wedge instead of trying to get around, because I don't know why my driving isn't that good. I probably should have been trying to go around the side, but I was under the mistaken belief one of these hits would gyro the blade weirdly and hit his top plate or something. I'm not sure what I was thinking.
30 seconds.
Okay, she's being gentle, careful.
Yeah, be careful. Don't hit yourself.
I nearly pit myself there, but I kind of wiggle out of it, as you can see. All right, so that hit destroys one of his wedgelets, but it also, throughout this fight, the screws holding the motor onto the frame were coming very loose, and because they were loose, I was now having issues spinning up the weapon. I think because when I was trying to spin up, the wiggling motion of the motor was not letting the weapon get enough inertia to start properly spinning, so it's kind of cogging weirdly. Don't worry, you're fine, Jupiter. I don't really mind. It's a 1 pound SSP kit. It kind of does look like that. So basically, the weapon was now kind of wiggling around and thus couldn't really spin up for some reason. And I realized this.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
And I was like, I probably have to replace the motor, which I didn't have to replace the motor. I just tightened the screws in and tested the motor afterwards. It worked perfectly. At this point, there's only like 10 seconds left in the fight, so I basically just have to not be an idiot. And I try to like push him around, but I just get stuck on him.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, you got that. You got that.
A bit tougher than I expected, but I did get the win by judge's decision. So yay! And I actually did, for once. Okay, I'm gonna hope this works. I'm gonna pray this works. If the like thing goes black, please tell me. Stop sharing for a second to show you this. This is the frame, I believe, from Free Noogies that he gave me after the fight, I think. Yeah, this is it. So it's a bit of damage to the front, as you can see there. But the rest of it looks pretty nice. I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of surprised. This feels like, I don't know if it's like nylon or carbon fiber or whatever. It feels like almost PLA. It feels really stiff, which kind of surprises me for like a robot like that. It kind of surprised me that the robot was able to take that many hits without like even cracking, like except for like the front bit, even cracking a tiny bit. But it held up really well. I guess because it had like the TPU side things, but I guess that kind of explains why he was able to hold up so well. I'm guessing so. It feels like, I think, nylon or something. I couldn't tell you. I'm not a carbon fiber or 3D printing expert. He also gave me these supports that held up the hammer saw, which, as you can see, cracked right at the base. So that was pretty cool. Got that little memento. All right, next fight.
All right, we are at the.
What the hell? 1 second. That's not right. Hyperfixation should be the next. God dang it! Hold on. Yeah, that shouldn't. Dang, I'm gonna have to fix the order later. Yeah, this.
All right, we are going to.
This fight happened on day 1. I'm not sure why it's below the day 1 vlog. Whatever. Anyway, so this is the third fight for Chlorine on day 1. And I was up against another. Oh, it's black now, by the way. Hold on, let me reset the. Okay, is it working now? Hey, there we go. See, this is good. I have people can tell me if the stream's bugging out or not. Great. So anyway, right. Third fight for Chlorine was against a robot called Hyperfixation, which is this big, mean, nasty vertical drum spinner. And this is another fight. Now you're fine, man. I've had this issue before. I did like a live stream like a year ago where after the stream ended, because no one was watching it, no one could tell me this. A lot of the sections of the stream were just black, and they happened every time I like switched from my camera to I tried to make this camera here bigger to show you like damage I had or took. I didn't realize that until after it, and so since then I basically never switch or stop sharing because it keeps bugging out sometimes. Anyway, third fight, Hyperfixation, big mean drum spinner, like drum gun, this time even wider and biggerer. I was not really feeling all too confident again because, again, this is a good robot. Hyperfixation does pretty well at the events it goes to. So let us see how we do.
To start this fight in 3, 2, 1, fight!
Spin up. I get hit. First hit, I get launched into the wall and I get pinned. And I didn't tap out this time, unlike the last time this happened to me. Hyperfixation just comes right in, just joint knocks me off. I spin up. I try my best to drive away, get up the speed. Not a good hit. Keep my weapon face towards him as best as I can. And a massive
I think
shot.
you got him, actually.
And that hit, I think, I think it like cut his weapon belt or something, so his weapon was basically non-functional now. Meaning I now have basically free reign to just hit him for the rest of the fight. And unlike the last time this happened against Camino, my weapon is actually functional and not dying every like 20 seconds, so I could basically just keep attacking him. I could keep being stuck on the
that's
arena.
okay. No, it's just my motor belt. Shut it off.
Hit him again.
30 seconds go.
Yeah.
I'm not really taking as much advantage as I could because I'm constantly just oversteering because I keep expecting to like. I'm not used to how the robot turns really because again, test box not big enough, so I'm still kind of learning how the robot drives on the fly. A good shot there. Spin up again. I'm trying to be careful and not like hit the wall because I don't want to lose in a stupid fashion. Just constantly chipping away, get stuck on the middle again. Couldn't cut us down because I didn't really have the throttle up enough. I had a good shot there because I actually drove well for once. Oh, oversteer again. Get stuck on something. Oh, good shot. Another shot there. This front is really picked up now. At some point, I send the weapon up to full speed for once. There we go. I spin the weapon up to full speed right now. Still oversteering. Can't really.
10, 9, 8.
At this point, I now kind of I'm starting to deal with like the damn floor scene again.
3, 2, 1. This fight is going to the judges.
Let's go, Darren. Let's go, Darren.
And there. Okay, so I ended up winning this fight as well. Yeah, I did full send it at near the end when I finally went up to full speed with the weapon for once, and because of my poor driving, I couldn't really take advantage of it. But I ended up winning again against a really good robot, which I was legitimately shocked at because up until this point, Chlorine has not really performed that well at any of the events it's gone to. So for it to be actually having a winning record was new to me, which was pretty cool. So yeah, because I was 3-0 with Fluorine and 2-1 with Chlorine, both of the robots would actually make the bracket, which I wasn't expecting. I honestly expected, honestly thought Chlorine would go maybe, it wouldn't make the bracket, to be honest. Which is, again, I'm kind of, I'm at a loss for because I don't really know how to really, what's the term? I'm just kind of still stunned that Chlorine really worked well for once. It's good, and so I mean, it kind of has given me the confidence to try taking it to NHRL maybe, and who knows, maybe I actually might win a couple fights. I don't really know, but we shall see. Anyway, so day 1, pretty damn successful. Let's move on to day 2. Alright, so my first fight of day 2 was with Fluorine, and I was facing the robot named Schizo, which is built by the by Andy of Palm Beach Bots, and he was using his lifter configuration because Schizo has like a lot of fights, I guess. Just hold on a second. Sorry, I finally got like an invoice / payment thing from CNC Madness because I'm ordering a new frame. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to this. So my strategy here is just hit him for 2 minutes and just not die, which is easy. Yeah, I gotta be honest. This is a bit of a boring fight because not much really happens. Aside from Florian starts to have some severe drive issues. Like about 30-ish seconds into this fight, which, yeah, you can kind of start to see it kind of now. I'm struggling to turn, specifically turn left, just a bit. It's like dragging a little more than normal. Is it turning left or right? No. Carefully now, come on. Yeah, there we go. So I'm just gonna kind of talk about what's happening here as the fight continues, because nothing's really happening. My left side drive gearbox at this point is starting to break. But the problem is, I didn't realize this was the problem at the time in this fight and also the next fight. I thought that I was just having battery issues or something, because the way the robot's driving right now is very similar to how it would drive if it was having like a low battery or something. Because I've driven with a lowish battery before, ironically against Skylifts before, and it felt exactly kind of like this. So yeah, fight ends. I end up getting the win by judge decision, which yay. I don't know about taking it to NHL. I know there's improvements I can do to chlorine to make it better. Yeah, I know that, but something else you should know is that even with a low battery, for some reason in the past, when I've had a low battery, the weapon still works almost completely fine. Like it still spins up to full speed easily. It's just, I think it's, if I try to spin up the weapon and drive is when it would feel bad, but when I shut off the weapon, I could suddenly drive again. That's how it like feels. So that's what I was actually kind of trying to do during the fight. Is I kept trying to shut the weapon off and drive, and that still didn't really feel right. So my assumption for this fight was I just assumed the battery was like bad or something. So I switched to a different battery and I made sure it was charged. You're gonna see that didn't help at all, like just at all. And eventually, after my next fight, I did figure it out, and I just replaced the gearbox. Well, I replaced the motor because I don't know how to replace the gearbox. Okay. So this fight, chlorine made it to the bracket, obviously, and because of that, it fought someone. I was faced up against, because the universe hates me, I was faced up against fellow UF competitor Temporal Terror for my first bracket fight match. Which, yeah, I just, I don't really know what to say because like Temporal Terror is just a really good robot. Oh, that reminds me. I just remembered. I also got this piece of hyperfixation from the guy. It's like a metal piece that's like the side fork thing, which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's, there we go. Sorry, my thing's breaking on me. What the heck? There we go. Okay, so yeah, that was pretty cool. Anyway, so I'm just against Temporal Terror, and I pretty much knew I was gonna lose because Adam is a excellent driver. But we did like make an agreement before this fight that he would let me spin up to full speed once, and then we'd just kind of go at it. So Yeah, that was fun. So let's see how this fight goes. I'm just gonna.
3, 2, 1, fight, let's
I had the roof. I'm still working though, which is great. I don't even have time to like spin up, and then I end up on my side. Yeah, this hasn't ever happened before. I can say that. I never really thought this would happen. I mean, so this is probably something else I'm gonna have to fix, because chlorine could just get stuck on its side. If chlorine goes, you start having weapon issues. Yeah, I've noticed that too with some of the fights I've seen. Anyway, so I ended up on my side, and I thought I was done, but I completely forgot that they allowed unsticks at this event. Well, one unstick per fight. So, so I'm like, oh wait, I have an unstick? Let me count out. So I had like stitched 2 fight bits together because I think Gabby was the one filming, like stopped the filming instead of like pausing it, but it's fine. So basically, I got unstuck, and now I'm back in the game. And I'm like actually crying out loud. I'm not looking forward to this at all. I immediately run into the wall. I finally get a chance to spin up again. I come at him. I get launched into oblivion, and I end up pinned against the wall, unable to move again. And at this point, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be counted out, so I just tap out. Yeah, I just tap out just to save the count out time because I can't move, and it's, yeah. So yeah, chlorine is out of the event. At least the tournament part of the event. And thus, well, I can maybe do grudge match, but so chlorine is out. But fluorine is still in. And for my next fight, I was faced up against nausea again. Because, of course. And at this point, again, I was still thinking that the issues with the drive were a battery thing. And I was about to find out that no, it was not. I mean, it was what was kind of throwing me was like the robot is driving fine here, as you can see. So I think like the gearbox problems are just kind of intermittent, which is kind of annoying. That was like the main issue I was having. So I kind of let him get to my back because, like I said, I'm having drive issues.
You gotta back off.
So I'm having to deal with the drive thing, and so I'm not concentrating on, my weapon should be up to speed, and so I let him get like a good couple of shots. But the good news is none of the hits really did anything to me because they're just hitting like the wheels, which, are important, but they're pretty big, so I can afford to lose quite a bit of them before I start having issues with like driving. And also the weapon, the undercutter can only hit like the little nub at the bottom, which is fine because it's TPU and also has a little middle bolt in there. Still having a couple drive issues, but I managed to hit him nicely there. There goes a wheel. Caden is trying his best to give me some advice. I'm basically having to pretend one of my wheels is dead because it's like just crab walking horribly. It's somehow Nausea is still able to move because its weapon is on the ground. I'm getting pissed at Florian because it's not driving well, and I'm also kind of getting annoyed because Nausea is still moving around despite the fact none of its wheels work anymore, and he's not being counted out because I guess this technically counts as controlled motion, even though he can't like control where he's going with his weapon. He's just kind of flying around the arena. I'm definitely trying to say, hey, he's not really moving controllably. I'm trying to get. I'm saying.
He's got one wheel.
Finally, his weapon breaks down. I think so. Yay! As I'm still struggling to get over to him because my gearbox at this point is now just kind of exploded. I think so. It's not working.
There it is. I wonder if he smoked it. He was pushing the weapon really hard to that against him.
Let him go, Darren. Darren, he's getting counted out.
I'm still hitting him because I'm thinking he's just shot off his weapon to be nice, and he's gonna start turning it on in a second to do the thing again. And I'm also thinking I've lost a bunch of aggression or control points because I couldn't able to effectively attack, and now I can. So eventually, I'm like, oh, he actually is getting counted out for it. So I shut off their weapon.
I think your foam is just not turning in one direction. Oh.
And I finally get the issue of, oh, it's my gearbox that's breaking. So anyway, I won. Barely by just decision. I finally replaced that motor because I can't replace the gearbox because it's almost impossible to get in there and replace it. Anyway, so Chlorine had still one more fight left. This one was against also in the Nausea fight. I destroyed one of his motors, as you can see here, which is nice. He also basically everything was broken in that poor robot. Anyway, Chlorine. I still had a grudge. I still was able to get a grudge match in against another UF robot, built by I think Kieran. His name is called Landshark, which is a hammer saw. And because this fight was kind of for fun, I put on my big weapon. Oh, hey, Combat Robotics. Welcome to the stream. We're about halfway through it. I just got done dealing with talking about a lot of my fights. I'm getting to the grudges now. So, for this fight, so first of all, in the fight with Temporal Tear, I took quite a bit of damage. So, I spent a bit of time putting the robot back together. And for this fight, I decided to switch to my big weapon because I wanted to see how good it actually was. And the problem turned out to be is that when I was changing the motors out, because the big weapon has a different hub center thing, I forgot to put zip ties on the wires, on that center support thing for the robot. Hold on, let me get what's left of Chlorine here. Normally there's zip ties here on this center spar that hold the weapon wires in place so they don't pull out of the plugs. What KV hub mode do you run? For which one? Chlorine? The KVs I think are it's 750 on the Just Cuz hub motor and 850 on the repeat hub. Yeah, it's right now I'm gonna go to an 850 kV motor for Chlorine because it's the but repeat hub motor is a bit cheaper than the Just Cuz one. So I'm gonna be using that one from now on, I think. So yeah, 850 kVs. It's pretty good for a horizontal spinner. So anyway, I forgot to put on zip ties when I was changing the motors. And because of that, well, you're about to see the problems with that in a second. I was also So I kind of realized because I basically trashed both my frames in my previous fights. They still were in one piece, but I realized I'm probably gonna have to just buy a new one after this because they're in kind of rough shape. So I kind of was a bit more gung ho in this fight, and like basically was like I'm probably gonna uh let basically just I was willing to take a lot more damage. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. I barely. So yeah, my weapon hit him like twice, and then the wires pulled out of the leads that connect them to the ESC. I think honestly they were starting to sag, and they got caught in the weapon and just pulled out. So yeah, I now no longer had a weapon, and because I didn't really. Well, I decided to just basically keep going because I was like, yes, screw it. I might as well have some fun and give the audience a bit of a show. Okay, so that first hit, what that first hit did was it ripped up some of the wheel guard on this side, and it didn't break off. It like jammed a bunch of material between the wheel guard and the wheel, and so occasionally that wheel would just lock up completely because it was being jammed by the plastic material, uh, which meant sometimes I would lose drive on one side randomly, which sucked because it, intermittent losing your wheel is horrible because if I've lost a wheel, fine, I can just crab walk. But if it sometimes comes back, that means when I'm trying to crab walk, suddenly I'm driving perfectly straight, which is hard to which makes trying to avoid the hammer saw a bit difficult. So yeah. So I decided, yes, screw it, hit me. So yeah, that hit just punched right through the carbon fiber, left a nice gaping hole in it. See, like right there, the drive works, then it doesn't work again. So there it suddenly works again, then it stops working again. You see the problem, I hope. I'm like, okay, you know what? Screw. I'm just gonna let him hit me, but I want him to hit me only in like areas I want him to hit me. I'm basically just like, hit me, dude. Come on. I kind of tease him a bit there.
We need a battery fire.
There goes another. There goes more of the frame. Oh jeez. Yeah, now it's not connected anymore, which is sweet.
Here in trivert mode.
Weapon drive start working again, then it doesn't start working again. This goes back and forth. It's not even facing the right way. Oh jeez. But thankfully the fight ends before you can battery fire me. Yeah, that frame was trashed after that fight. I gave it to Kieran because I could. Thankfully, that frame only costs like $40, I think, like 40. Yeah, $40, I think, because like it's 80, then it's like another more money to ship it. Yeah, I don't know. Kieran was nice and purposely didn't hit me in my main body area where all the actual important stuff is. After the fight, the wheel worked. Like the drive worked. I just had to rip that little. I actually in the arena I ripped that little piece off because I was kind of annoyed at that happening. But yeah, everything still works. Like the weapon motor still works, drive still works. Yes, everything electrically and all expensive and difficult to work with still works. The only thing that I lost was frame, which thankfully I was like, I've already ordered new parts. Like during this live stream, I finally got the quote back from CNC Madness and bought myself a new weapon frame, which I actually I'll get to the changes actually at the end. I'll just say I bought a new one. So that's Chlorine's day done because I had no more spare frames at this point, and so yeah. Next fight, I was facing the terrifying Mori with Florine, and yeah, this fight, I'm gonna just be honest, did not go well. So I spin up, we go great.
Option budgets that won't work.
So you'll notice that Florine was kind of a bit unstable. He gets the guy shot me, flips me over.
Oh, let's go, Darren. Let's go, Darren.
Trying. I missed completely and hit the damn wall. Trying really to drive this best I can upside down.
Oh yeah.
And Mori's just, able to take the hits. We're just trading below the point, nice and good. Spin up, aim towards him. Like, Mori keeps doing that thing where it, like, dies for a second and comes back to life. I think it's just resetting, to be honest. I spin up, just trying to keep the weapon face towards him. I'm doing a pretty good job of that, in my humble opinion. Careful now. Oh, good shot on the side. Again, we're just trading nice shots back and forth. There, I finally take off one of his wedges. He hits me in the back, but not a problem.
Oh, that sucks.
Okay, so right there, you didn't see it because I guess whoever was filming was, I think Brooks, like, was looking at the fight but not with the phone. I get in the corner. Mori lands a perfect shot on my wheel, which normally I thought it would just launch me in the air, but it actually manages to rip the wheel off, which normally that's bad, but I could deal with that. But that hit also jammed up the gearbox on the other side of the robot and meant I now no longer had any working wheels. Like, the wheel that was working, actually, I think even, like, I think basically it killed both drive motors that one hit, which sucked. Like, if one of my wheels was still working, I would have still been able to kind of be somewhat aggressive. I think I would have actually stood a better chance. And, like, the problem was when I was in the corner, I was upside down, so I was having to, like, reorient myself. So I was, like, concentrating, like, okay, I have to spin up and then back out. But the problem is, like, I actually had I was basically given, like, no time to react, and Moore was on me immediately and just killed me, which sucked. And so at this point, I can't drive anymore, except I'm like actually frantically figuring out what the heck's going on. Did I break something? And at some point I realized, yeah, I've lost both drive motors, but I still do have the weapon, so I'm like, okay, I'm probably gonna lose this fight at this point because look at me. But I am not going to make it easy. I'm going to I'm gonna force a judge decision because that's my last bit of spite, because I want to lose, but I kind of was like, at this point, it's basically a point of pride. I want to lose by judge decision, not KO, because there's only like 10 seconds left, so not enough time to actually count me out. Yeah, so I lost, obviously. I think if I had to run this fight again, I think I would have if I'd driven a bit better, I think I could have taken it if I was just a bit smarter with my driving. But unfortunately, I wasn't in this fight and I lost. It kind of sucks, but hey, 5-1 overall is not too shabby. Yeah, no shit, it's a good buck, Kieran. Yeah, Mori is very good. Which, yeah, like I said, I think if I ever get a chance to have a rematch against him, I think I do a bit better because I know what to expect, and I just need to remember to like kind of stay on him more and don't let him like run away as much. And when he is dead, hit him harder instead of just kind of lollygagging. Also, hi Kieran, we were discussing my fight with you before this and how you tore up the carbon fiber top plate. Well, not top plate, the top frame, and Land Shark's cool design. So yeah, I hope you're doing something fun with that carbon fiber, like putting out your trophy case or something, because that has some quality battle memorabilias. Anyway, so yeah, I lost, but first of all, I had Fluorine back up and running in like 30 minutes because I just had to replace both the drive motors. Oh, thanks, buddy, Kieran. So yeah, I had Fluorine up and running in like 30 minutes. I just had to replace both the drive motors and I was working again. I also had to replace like one of the hubs because Mori managed to break it because it's made of plastic. Which, again, not too difficult. So yeah, Fluorine was back up and running pretty quickly. And so I decided I want to do grudge matches. And luckily I did manage to get one singular grudge match in. I kind of wished I'd gotten more, but whatever, I won't be picky. I was able to grudge match Gabby from the UF team who built a robot called Van Hellspin, which is like vampire slayer themed, which is pretty cool. I still don't really know what Merca is, so I mean, sure, if I could, I don't know what I'll have to look into that, but yeah, sure. Anyway, so I did manage to get one more fight. I got a grudge match against Gabby from the UF team with Van Hellspin. And I should preface this fight a little bit. Yeah, it was kind of an easy win. I'll have to say this. I did say to Gabby I would give her like a good 20 seconds or I would give her some time to get acclimated to driving her robot. Because I think because this obviously wasn't her first event. This is like her, I think. Dang, I can't remember. I think it's like her third event. I think it's maybe her second with this particular robot, or is it third? I can't remember for the life of me, but this was Van Hellspin at this point was using like a repeat hub motor and had been kind of redesigned from its prior incarnation. That's the one. Dang it. I decided to give her some time to get acclimated to just driving the robots because she'd fixed it up, and I want the people on the UF team. I want them to do well. I want them to get I want them to do well. I want the team to do well. Obviously, even if I have to fight them, I do want them to do well. So I gave Gabby some time to like. Actually, I'll just start the damn fight. Wait. So we both spin up. I don't attack immediately. I kind of come out, let her kind of get acclimated. And I think around now I'm like, she starts going after me. So I'm like, all right, let's go. And I land one hit that removes her wheel, and she decides to tap out, or well, get counted out. I actually ask her, "Do you want me to pit you again?" I think she just actually like shut her weapon off as a way to say I'm done. So I do a little circling maneuver because I can. Yeah, not much really else to say. Just a really quick fight. And immediately after this, ironically enough, was the ant weight rumble, which hilariously enough, Gabby was actually going to fight in, but now she couldn't because the wheel got ripped off, and I felt kind of bad after that because I didn't realize, oh, the rumble's happening like now. I think she just it was okay, but like I still kind of feel a bit bad because look at all this. So yeah, I'm gonna be kind of quiet for this because admittedly, I'm gonna be straight up honest. Florian did almost nothing of use in the rumble. Spin up. I get like 2 hits. That's nice. There. Okay, so right there, what's it called? The frickin' Foo Fighter. That's it. Hits me and manages to rip my wheel off, which I'm honestly kind of surprised by. Like, dang, that's impressive. And I think that hit also ended up destroying my weapon motor, because also right after this, the weapon just stopped completely, which sucked. Yeah, it like twitches a little, but then it just dies completely, which is fun. I nearly swore there, but there was children like right next to me, so I avoided that because, well, duh. And at this point, I'm just gonna keep fighting the fight because it's just chaos. Florian is basically dead. Like the other drive motor still works, but there's no wheel on it, so I can't really move. I mean, I can, but no. I see someone stuck there, so I actually managed to knock him over. So yeah, I'm just trying to see if the weapon will work again, but it doesn't. Oh, poor kid getting his whatever. The kid filming this was like right next to me. I don't know why I said weapon is cool. That's just a 2013 thing to say. Anyway. Yeah, I'm basically at this point trying to play dead whenever anyone gets close to me, because I do want to still be... I still want to have the robot be fixable after this. And I want to say at this point, like, most of the robots here, A, don't work anymore, and B, their weapons don't work anymore, except for this, like, horizontal sprinter, who's doing a really good job. And, of course, Foo Fighter for being Foo Fighter. Pushy, I think this is doing pretty well.
Oh, good. Okay, I have to get the wheel back on. Oh, God.
He ain't shoving me around. I get launched into the fight here by Foo Fighter again. Foo Fighter is honestly doing shockingly well for being made of literal plastic. Again, the good news is I'm at this point the kid's just, oh god. I don't really know what to say to this. This is just chaos, and I'm like, and then this happens where I actually just catch whatever this robot's name is with my now dead weapon, which I found. I'm proud of that flip I made, I'll be honest. Not that good, but it's for the time being on this place. Nope. Yeah, Florian's getting absolutely pummeled.
Okay, no one's weapon is working except for Foo's and this guy right here, whose name I don't know.
Oh god.
I am defenseless. Yeah,
yeah. It's like twitching back and forth a little bit. I think what happened is like it just got jammed completely or something.
No. Ian, that wasn't nice.
I don't think Ian hears me.
Well, I forgot to actually restart.
Okay, not to ignore my horrendous looking face. Jesus Christ, I need to get a haircut. Anyway, I think they're okay. Of the sound, yeah, it's loud funks. So yeah, weapon, I'm not sure why I think what happened with the motors, it just got jammed up completely. I'm not sure why. I think like maybe the magnet shattered or bearings exploded. I don't know. I couldn't actually get the motor open, and I ended up giving the motor to Gabby because technically speaking, she's the last. Her robot was the last robot I actually faced with a weapon that worked. I guess I couldn't really give it to anyone from the Rumble because at the time I wasn't really sure why the weapon stopped. So I just gave it to Gabby as a little trophy, I suppose. And I hope she's doing something fun with it, or maybe putting it on her shelf as a little memento. As the weapon, basically the last proper fight I had with that motor was against her, which I think is nice because Rumbles are weird. So aside from that, I did manage to get the weapon working again by swapping like the internals from another motor I had with the shell of a motor that Caden, who's also on the UF team, had. And I managed to, with the repeat robotics guy Peter's help, managed to Frankenstein them together. And so I have the robot right here working. I also replaced that wheel, which fell off. I also had to get a new hub because the hub was broken. So I got a new hub as well. And I also did replace the frame because the frame was a bit dented from my Mori fight, so I actually replaced it. I think actually no, I replaced it after the Rumble because I figured it was time for a new one anyway. Because why not? So yeah, Florian is ready to go. It's fully operational because I'm pretty good at keeping my robots operational after fights, and I like keeping them. I like getting him fight ready soon after events because it's reassuring, I suppose. Chlorine isn't technically because it still needs a new weapon frame. Right. So that. Why do people use How does that figure out? I honestly don't know. I'm gonna stop sharing because there's nothing really else to show. I mean, I could show photos, but I'm gonna stop sharing for a bit and just. Why do people use the repeat instead of the fingertip ones? Is it just for cost? I don't really know because the fingertech twist hubs, at least especially these plastic ones, are pretty cheap and also really lightweight and also really easy to remove. I just need like a little, like the weird key thing or like these wrenches people 3D printed, which is nice. So that was the event. Overall, I think it went pretty well, especially for Flooring. It went, 5-1 in the tournament, 6-2 if I include the grudge match and the Rumble, which I will because I think that's fair. And yeah, surprise to my shock, Chlorine actually did really, really well. It actually beat two incredibly dangerous looking robots. And Drum Gun, which I forgot to show this earlier, but I got like a little piece of Drum Gun's side armor right here, which I think is awesome. And that's also kind of that's for like trophies I got. I also got some poker chips, which I'll grab them actually because they're right up here. I got a bunch of these little poker chips here, and I tried to label them from the fights that I got, but I know I messed up the labeling on some of them because I only thought I should, label them for which opponent I faced, like after I think my Schizo fights. So a bunch of these are probably incorrect for what fights they correspond with, but whatever. Should have been a 5. Oof. Yeah, I heard that little controversy thing, Jupiter. Y'all, I'm looking forward to hearing you, as the kids say, crash out over that when you do your event recap. There we go. I also got this from Helen, which is nice little. Is that backwards? Oh no, it isn't actually right side forward. That's great. little poker chip there. It's cute. So that was the event. Like I said, fluorine did well. Chlorine did shockingly well, and so yeah, it's nice. Going forward from here, I have an idea for like so fluorine. I'm not really gonna change much. But something I did do is I because both my chassis ended up getting trashed. Like here's the one I had that I used up until the Mori fight, and as you can see, it got ripped up. All this damage is from Mori. Like there's like a big chunk out at the bottom there, and like at the back, and on this side, and from the top. And this, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't even know what a Mori is. All I know is that when Mori's like announced at events, I keep thinking they're saying fluorine for some reason. And I constantly get confused. So it's a bit more incentive for me to kick him to try and beat him next time, so I can, I don't know, prove I'm better sounding. I don't know. And so also in the rumble I had, I took like this massive gash in the side and like that chunk there, and also the top, the top plate has gotten more damaged over time, and it's starting to get to the point where I'm gonna have to finally get myself a replacement. I'm not really looking forward to that because it's a really tiny part, but I kind of want to like bulk order it with something else, like maybe a new top plate for chlorine, because the top plate on chlorine is also getting kind of busted up. And chlorine took a bit of damage. Like there's a pretty big gash in the butt, like there, which I think was from suboptimal. The top plate took some damage. Like there's a bit of a scrape from. I think all that's from what's it? Kieran's robot, the land shark. Yes, I do apply things to the wheels. I applied liquid latex and liquid rubber cement, then liquid latex. I just haven't done it to the Florine's new wheels yet. I will at some point. But like I said, chlorine took a bit of damage to the wheel guard. I'm gonna have to probably soon find someone to 3D print me a new chassis. But I also, for the new chassis, need to include that back raised plastic piece, which I'm gonna struggle to do, but I think I have a plan for that. So going forward, what am I going to be changing about the robots? Well, like I said, I 3D printed yesterday 2 new chassis for fluorine. One, I kind of messed up the CAD file a little and forgot to put a proper fillet in there. I mean, there is a fillet technically in this, but it's really tiny because I didn't like click all the edges, and I was like, I basically just extrude as much as I could and just printed it anyway because I was like, I probably can't do better than this. But here's like basically the new design I'm going to use going forward. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a kind of small but more noticeable fillet going around the bottom, and the idea is that will kind of strengthen the walls a bit, because before it was just a straight 90-degree bend, and that does a lot of stress concentration there. So when I took damage, like it would kind of rip, or well, at least maybe not in this one, but like in this old chassis, it would kind of rip and tear chunks out a bit more easily. And I'm hoping this makes it a bit more durable somehow. And I also made the insides a bit more curvy, like there and there, and like really hard to see, but there as well. Pretty much everywhere there's like a little curve to make it a bit more fluid, I guess. For chlorine, right. Did I take a picture? I actually wait. I think I have like the file. I'm gonna show my phone because I'm worried about trying to share a screen thing. Flooring kit when? I have no idea. I'm not Caden. You'd have to. I'm not Caden, so I actually don't know when the flooring kit will come out. I mean, I would like to make a kit maybe eventually, but invoice. That's not it. Where's the damn? There it is. Capture. Okay. There we go. So there we go. That's the new frame I've made for chlorine. It's about 25. It's like 2.5 centimeters shorter. Specifically, like just the front portion is a bit shorter because I'm gonna try using the. I'm gonna try and optimize it for the shorter bar that I've used that I used basically primarily at this event. I'm gonna try using that more. I'm gonna I've redesigned it to be a bit more. Well, it's just better design, less. I've redesigned. I've redesigned it to hit better by. I've kind of changed like the counterweight, so it's actually like the rake angle of the quote unquote like edges isn't like negative. It's now actually just a zero instead of like that weird guitar shape it was. It's going to be a bit more flared out. So if the counterweight does hit something, it'll actually bite a bit better. And I've also pulled the counterweight in a bit, so that part doesn't really, so that the tooth will actually hit more often. And I'm basically, yeah, but pretty much I'm basically going against my whole big weapon thing by switching to a smaller-ish weapon, one that's a bit more optimized that I think will perform better because it's designed for the motor, and it'll also hopefully make the driving a bit easier by shifting the weight backwards towards the wheel, so it doesn't it'll actually rotate around the wheel instead of sliding. So that's the hope. I've already ordered the parts, and they should get to me in like a week or so. And then basically chlorine will be fully functional because everything else still works. Have I ever thought about doing a CAD stream? Maybe. The problem is when I CAD, it's usually very spur of the moment, and it's not like it's when I CAD something. It's not like basically I do CAD in like a spur of the moment kind of thing. It'd be kind of awkward if we just suddenly start streaming and then just not talk for like an hour, and not much happen with the CAD because my CAD sessions are really short because I don't really do much. So not really. So anyway, that was the Robot Ruckus event. I'm gonna sign off for now because there's nothing really left to talk about. Successful overall. Happy with how the robots did, and that's kind of all I have to really say. So thank you all for joining. I appreciate you leaving comments. That was great, and I will hopefully see y'all soon at future events or future testing videos. Nice. That's good to hear, Jupiter, Jonathan. I look forward to seeing it. So anyway, I'll be signing off for now. Thanks for joining, and this is Darren Catalane of Team Halogen Robotics signing off for now. Take care, my halogen homies. Where's the ending? There we go.